Denton Toastmaster. To dream the impossible dream, to fight the unbeatable foe, to bear with unbearable sorrow, to run where the brave dare not go, to right the unrightable wrong, to love pure and chaste from the heart afar, thank you. To try when the arms are too weary, to reach the unreachable star. This is my quest. I bet you thought that was going to be easy. Have you ever thought about a dream? Have you ever thought about a vision? What does it take to create one? I'm going to suggest tonight that you might want to consider one of my favorite authors, Stephen Covey. He wrote 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Habit number 2 says, begin with the end in mind. I've given that speech 100 times to this club. What that means is you start from wherever you're at. It doesn't matter where you're at. And you think of the steps that it takes to get to your goals. And you notice that with my foot tonight, I'm not limping near as bad, so it's flowing. Anyway, so this is where you want to end up. And what are the specific steps to go from there to there? It's that simple. Now, if it was that simple, anybody could do it. What I'm going to talk about are 5 recommendations for pulling together a team that would help you complete your vision. And I think the number 1 is diversity. Diversity we think of as male and female and black and white. And yeah, that is part of the diversity. But I'm talking more of the skill sets, of the education diversity, of the personality diversity. For instance, a lot of people want to say, I need creativity in my team. But if your whole team is made of creative people, they're going to sit around playing games all day and they're never going to get anything done. Now, if you have somebody that is kind of AR, if you know what I'm talking about, they're a little bit over compelling. They'll tell you what's wrong with the project. They'll tell you why it won't work. They'll tell you what you can do about it. They'll tell you all the things you can't do. But you need that. Now, I was on a team once that the only people on that team were this type of person who could tell you it wouldn't work. And guess what? It never did work. Because they didn't have diversity. Diversity is one of the key traits. You got to define your scope and your project, your objectives. You need to be specific. What do you want to do? For an example, we're going to have a party over at my house. And I decided to paint the house because I wanted to have it beautiful for you guys when you came over. My wife and I, we took one of those weekend trips, and we came back after the weekend. We walked into the house, and it was fire engine red. My wife said, I said, light white with a touch of pink. This is a whole lot more red than that. You've got to be specific with your objectives. So you're working on the right project. You've got to give education to your team. Now, sometimes the education comes in additional schooling or additional courses and things like that, maybe a specialty course. Sometimes it's things like skill sets. You know what I think about Toastmasters. I think Toastmasters teaches the best skill set there is out there. And I do congratulate Amy and Mike and Shiva, for joining. You joined a great organization. The next thing you need to worry about is you need to think out of the box. And I'm not talking about John Givelli's boxes that he won his contest, you know, the boxes, that kind of box. I'm talking about getting out of the blocks. If you can think in terms of what do you want to accomplish and when do you want to accomplish it, you can think in terms of years ahead of where you are right now. One of the software programs we developed copy and paste before there was a Microsoft. And that software saved the federal government 28 years at $4 million a year. That's vision. That's thinking out of the box. That's doing things that haven't been done before. The worst thing in the world you want is somebody saying, we can't do it that way. It's never been done that way before. I can't see it being done that way. But that's not the solution to vision. Finally, sorry, I looked at the wrong one. You must create a principle-centered vision. It's kind of like saying, if you don't believe in smoking, but you set up a team to develop smoking facilities for the entire floors of every building you own, that's not really going with your principles. Does that make sense? This is my quest to follow that star, no matter how hopeless, no matter how far, to fight for the right without question or pause, to be willing to march into hell for a heavenly cause. It's that simple. Do what you want to do. Take the time to think ahead, and you too can be successful in your life. Madam Toastmaster.